We just got back from camping in the van at Harcourt Mountain Bike Park, and I thought now might be a good time to show you guys how I was able to fit 4 mountain bikes in the back of our Sprinter van. And not only that, I also come up with a way to put the front wheels on that saves me heaps of time and mucking around with the, especially with the heavy e-bikes. When I first built the slide out tray, we actually only had 2 bikes, no e-bikes, just 2 regular bikes. So we had heaps of space and I had some extra stuff mounted in there, but I ended up having to get an e-bike for work, shooting videos for Flow Mountain Bike. And then also Yelena ended up getting an e-bike so we could go on some e-bike adventures. So I had to reshuffle the whole tray and kind of figure out a way to get them all in there without them all crashing into each other and being too hard to put in and out. So I'm going to give all these bikes a wash today, but I thought before I pull them off the tray, I'd show you how they're mounted in there. To make them all fit, we had to put Yelena's Remedy facing the other way, otherwise there was just too many handlebars going on at the front here. Even as it is, it took a lot of playing around to get them all to fit in without rubbing on each other. As you can see, they're pretty close in some spots. What I've got in the tray is my Canyon Strive, Yelena's Trek Remedy. My Strive's a medium, Yelena's Remedy's a medium. We've got Yelena's Trek Rail 9, which is a medium, and then my Trek Rail 9.8, which is a large. And you can see my rail actually hangs over the back of the slide out tray, but I've actually got a spot next to the fridge there where the wheel kind of slots through, so it fits in just perfectly. Used Rocky mounts for mounting the bikes in. They're so easy to clip them in and out, and they're adjustable to fit different size axles and lockable. These are the I think the original version, and then I've got 2 of the newer version which are actually even better. Ones with the blue on the edges there. All right, so on to the fun part. Getting these e-bikes out particularly and putting the front wheels on is an absolute pain because the Bosch controllers sit up so high above the handlebars you can't flip them over, and they're too heavy to just hold with one hand and try and mount the wheel. It's an absolute pain. So I come up with this idea, getting these brackets from the hardware store and then having them raised up a bit higher than the tray allows me to flip the bike over and rest it on the handlebars to put the wheel in, and not have the seat hitting the ground, not have the bars hitting the ground and getting worn. So I'll show you how that works. Yeah, basically rests in perfectly. The controls don't hit anything. There's clearance there. And it puts the bike in a nice spot for me to get it ready. I love these Evoc 2-wheel bags. So much easier being able to line the axle up and put the wheel in without having to hold the bike while you do it. these bikes a quick wash, and then I'll show you how I load them back in and fit them all on this tray. Well, 4 slightly cleaner bikes. The carbon rail paint job looks way better when it's clean and in the sun. Before I load the bikes back up, I'll show you what the tray looks like with nothing in it. So, it takes up most of the floor space in the back of our Sprinter, but we actually have the dual rear wheel. So the you can see there next to that firewood, the wheel arches actually take up a fair bit of our floor space, so we had to keep this fairly narrow. But it does fit 4 bikes in it, and the key has actually been, as I said, offsetting one of the bikes down the other end so that all the handlebars can fit, and then very, very precise mounting of where the front wheels go to make sure there's enough space for handlebars, including one of them I had to space up quite a bit higher. And then for the rear wheels, I've just used offcuts, bits of wood to give them spots to sit so that they don't slide across while we're traveling and rub on each other. I've got floor pump, shock pump, just some basic tools and spares, all in this tray. Place for our Allen key to sit. It's pretty neat. So one other thing that I had to, one other problem I had to solve with this whole setup was the pedals. I didn't want to have to take the pedals off all the bikes, and we ride flat, so the pedals are pretty big and they've got the lugs on them, which are pretty spiky and are going to rip up the paint on the frames of the other bikes if they end up contacting. So I bought these. These are pedal covers from a company called Granite, and they're just neoprene, simple neoprene pedal covers, and when you put them on flat pedals, I can really just push all the bikes up against each other and not have to worry too much about where the pedals go. These things are so good, easy to put on, even if you don't have a setup like this. Just putting them in the back of a car or something to stop you ripping up your interior, well worth the money. When I was laying out the bikes, trying to get them all to fit, I had to also really think about when we were going to be using both the e-bikes and the regular bikes, and where to put each one. Because I use the e-bike for work, I needed to be able to access that without taking any other bikes off. So we ended up on the outside of one side. And so after doing that, I decided it would be best to keep the e-bikes on one side together, and then the regular bikes on the other side together, because usually we're either both riding e-bikes or both riding our regular bikes. I'll show you how close everything gets once it's all together. So the pedals, if these weren't on there, they'd be scratching. Pedals. The closest fit is actually on the other side, the Strive and the Remedy. You can see here, the only way I could make this work was for the pedal of the Remedy to fit right in this gap of the Strive. So that one has to be pretty precise, the rest aren't too bad. And we'll get them all in. If you guys have got any questions about the bike tray, how I built it, or any of the bikes, or even the van, maybe I'll do a full walkthrough of that one day, let me know in the comments, and otherwise I'll see you tomorrow.